let's get to our last topic because this is epic. This is amazing.
Universal Studios.
We're at Thunder Sash. Eric's finishing up with the top 10 from the games for Thunder Sash. You introduced the topic. The fan part of it's going to come at the end when we see what the fans ended up choosing.
Okay, so guys, obviously, a new era is upon us. Switch 2, of course, is almost here, and before it gets crazy, because it's gonna, again, we're working towards April 2nd, but there's going to be stuff in between.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of exciting things happening. We want to give a really good, solid send-off to the Switch. It's meant a lot to all of us. For a lot of people, it brought them back into gaming because they were able to play on the go now. It's been very special. Obviously, it's going to be the most successful Nintendo console of all time. So we want to go over the 10 games that defined the Nintendo Switch generation. Okay. And as mentioned, Eric's going through all these fan submissions, which there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
What's a ballpark number of how many you got there?
On YouTube, it was
50 something.
3. Well, no, I was like people.
Oh,
Yeah, that was like chats. It's 357 games. Well, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, let me double check that. Hold on.
That's a lot.
That's just YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's Twitter on there as well.
Like 294. And then Twitter was
still going down.
555. And yeah, that's just yeah.
So
that's a lot.
He's figured out what the top 10. So we got a lot of stuff to figure out what the fan top 10 is. So let's be to see what they picked.
So that's a lot. Thank you everyone that participated in that. We appreciate it. That's really cool. So what we're gonna do, again, we want this to go on forever, but we want to give it enough time. We're going to go around and talk about the games on our list. And if I say a game, so hypothetically, if I were to go first and I say a game, and Andrew, it's on your list as well, you won't mention the game since I already mentioned it. So we don't mention games twice because there's just so many games, obviously, that are going to come up here. And they mean something different to all of us that kind of define the Switch generation for us. Now, with that said,
this is fun.
I am prepared to go first, but I do have a lot here. And I don't want to accidentally say everything you guys might have.
I can go first.
But I think I could easily play cleanup and probably still add some games to the list. So that would probably be the most efficient way of doing this.
All right.
Were we supposed to come? I only came up with 10 games.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Your body is ready.
Your body's ready. I got a couple of you. Yeah.
All right. Mike, are you prepared?
Yeah.
Is your body ready to kick it off?
Ready.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do, of course, the game that I guess, what was the question? The big question again? Just top 10, or is this the game that defined the whatever?
It really defined the Switch generation.
Okay. So for me, the number one game on my list, which is the one that defined the generation, is Breath of the Wild. I think that game literally made and broke the mold and inspired not only open world games for Nintendo, but across all platforms. Breath of the Wild, number one. Tears of the Kingdom, number two. Number three, Skyward Sword. I recently defeated that game for the very first time. Fell in love with it completely. Number four. That's number three. Number three, Skyward Sword. Number four, Mario Odyssey. I put Mike Odyssey there. I don't know why. Mario Odyssey. Number five, Bowser's Fury. It's not a full game. It's like I guess it's a game because it still has 120 stars, just like Mario 64.
And it's exclusive to Switch.
And also it's like the first glimpse of an open world Mario, which, oh my God, if you haven't played it, get on it. It's my favorite Mario of all time. That's Bowser's Fury. Number six, Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Again, this game is Incredible, and also the first time Kirby has a 3D world around him and everything. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Number 7, Animal Crossing made a huge impact in 2020. One of my favorite games with my daughters. We bonded incredibly. Number 8, Link's Awakening, which was Petey Patootie. Awesome, amazing. Number 9, Super Mario Maker 2. I think it was super fun, especially getting to play all these crazy levels people made, and
Yeah.
people build channels on top of that game. So it's
I remember that. I remember the guy who made Super Mario Brothers 5
yeah,
What?
yes,
within it. And dude, that is just so cool. The
Yeah.
replay value, like when
Exactly.
someone does something like that,
Uh-huh.
it's like I wasn't playing the game.
Yeah.
I had it, I hadn't played it in a while.
Uh-huh.
And I remember seeing that online. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get the code for this. Like
Yeah.
I got to play this. This is amazing. This is
And
so cool.
And that's the beauty of it. It's like you make a level and just share the code, and everybody else can play it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Number 10, and this could be unpopular, but it's popular for me because of sentimental reasons. This is my daughter's first Pokemon game, and we played together. Pokemon Sword and Shield, that from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo. So no honorary mentions available, right? Not even one. Just
No,
okay, good. Okay.
no, we shouldn't.
Okay, that way we don't kind of step on anybody else.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything that he just talked about. So I can't.
Right.
Unless we're quick like him, because that was pretty quick.
Yeah, if you're quick,
I think if you're quick.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to go down my list like that too. So,
Yeah. If you want to rapid fire,
I'm like, he took like half of my list.
yeah. Okay. Who would like to go then second? Who's prepared after those games that Mike gave? Gamebird, you are?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I didn't do mine in any particular order, so I'm just going to run through the games.
Okay.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. They brought back all the characters. I think the reveals for each character were a huge staple in the Switch's life cycle.
It was a vibe, right?
Absolutely.
It was real.
Metroid Dread, I put on there. It revitalized a game that we once knew about that we thought no longer existed. We didn't know that we'd get. We never thought in a million years we'd see that. So for Metroid fans, that one was massive.
Let me just say this to everyone again. Originally announced in June 2005, released October 2021. That is just so insane. And
boy went to school, went to college.
Yeah, and so many hearts were broken when Dread was canceled. It was canceled. Nintendo said it was canceled. They didn't say it was still in development.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a great one to put on the list, Gamebird. I like it.
And also that was my honorary mention.
It was on my list too.
Yeah.
Where am I? Let me see. Okay. This is a weird one, but I'm standing by it. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And the reason why I think that was so influential is because Nintendo allowed a third party to make their own vision of a Mario game, which Nintendo's historically known for being very protective of their IP, and for good reason. And guess what? It worked. And it, like a lot of people say, this is the game that it's a crime that it has no right to be as good as it is. And it was. And the second one's even better. Yeah. So I definitely think that one is, we ended up getting a Star Fox crossover with Starlink, as well as many other crossovers. So
Firefox.
I also put Pikmin 4. It's another one where, long rumored sequel. We thought the series was dead. We got that 3DS game. We're kind of waiting on it, and they innovated. They gave a mount. They gave a new camera perspective. Really cool.
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's a good one. It's Peak Pikmin.
Absolutely. Let me see. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think that was a massive one. It really took Pokemon for the first time into open world. And despite some of the complaints that people had with that game, it was pretty universally loved and praised in comparison to most of Pokemon Company's recent game outings.
Yes.
To say the least. Let's see. All right. Fire Emblem Three Houses, another one. It didn't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, but it won the People's Choice Game of the Year, which is a really big deal. It's a Fire Emblem game. It's always been pretty niche. Got more popular on the 3DS, but Three Houses is the one that I think really blew up the series, and it offered 3 campaigns on one card instead of doing the multiple SKU numbers.
That's a good pick. That's a good shout out too for winning People's Choice Game of the Year, because I mean, think about it. The people are the gamers.
Yep.
Mhm.
The everyday folk are playing video games, and they voted that. So that holds a lot of weight in my book.
Yep. And then I've only got 2 more. I've got 9 because a few of my others Mike already named out.
Cool.
So I've got Mario Wonder. I know this one's a little bit safe. It's a 2D Mario, but we got so stuck in that new Super Mario Brothers game formula that was feeling really stale and dry. And I think Mario Wonder, I mean, it's the big 2D Mario platformer on the Switch. It did some really cool, unique ideas with the Wonder Flower that was not super safe like new Super Mario Brothers games were, excluding that cool Starry Night level, which was rad and you'd expect to see in a Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
But it also added a lot of cool online functionality with like almost like the Dark Souls. You could see the other players running by and they could create checkpoints. So I think that one was pretty great, as well as Luigi's Mansion 3, bringing it back to mainline console, ditching the level system, and bringing you back into that nice expansive world, as well as Gooigi, probably one of the most influential Switch characters of all time. It's Luigi, but he's gooey. So
And then Mario Wonder was the first game without Charles Martinet.
Yeah, Charles Martinet. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
a great point.
Kevin Afghani took over for Mario Wonder and gave us the new era.
All right. Those were really good picks. Gamebird, I like them. It was good variety there. It was a nice variety pack. Andrew, what you got, man?
Yeah, I want to be clear that defining does not mean the best. And how I picked this list was because this game is on the Switch, we now can expect this, or yeah, it'll make sense as I say it. So my number 10 is Doom. I think people were just actually shocked how well this ran, that it was ported well. It was actually the most back when I worked in an office before YouTube. It was I'm pretty sure it was the most played one I saw among at least my male coworkers in between breaks, and that was like the first or second year of the system. And they would talk about like other shooters coming. Like that just wasn't something you talked about with Nintendo with shooters. Even though Doom isn't totally like a regular shooter, but since Doom was there was a possibility. My number 9 is Super Mario Odyssey. Kind of like how I mentioned before, first full 3D Mario was back after we didn't get one on the Wii U, aside from 3D World. Yeah. But it also defined that Mario does not have to get power-ups from question blocks. Like Nintendo is not limited with how to power up Mario. I'm going to 200.
Yeah, the new gameplay elements in Odyssey were really special.
For sure.
I'm just subscribing to the Andrew Collette show here.
And then my number 8 is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. A lot of same reasons Gamebird mentioned. I feel like Nintendo's getting weird again. Getting more trusting with other developers. That's crazy, and it was well received when it was leaked before it was revealed, and people didn't know like what to expect or that this was a bad decision, and it wasn't.
Yep.
Number 7 is Rocket League. That's because crossplay was something we could expect from the Switch, and I remember listening to Psyonix, the developer, and they were talking to Nintendo, and they just said it was a different conversation than when they talked to Nintendo before in the Wii U days. They were just like, crossplay is so important to us. And Nintendo was like, all right, let's make it happen. And now it's almost a regular thing. We just had to know if PlayStation's going to play nice or not. Sometimes we get a crossplay with everyone except PlayStation now.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Cuphead, because a Microsoft exclusive came to the Switch, not the PlayStation. And then this led to more coming over, like Ori and the Blind Forest. And we've still been getting others today during the Xbox fan freakouts of other exclusives, but
can't wait.
And now we're getting some before from PlayStation before it goes to Xbox, like Lego Horizons. So yeah, I think Cuphead was like the first one to really break that wall. Number 5 is Tetris 99. This was my personal game of the year, 2019. This was Nintendo's response to battle royales. without doing a shooter battle royale. We obviously got multiple 99. Well, they weren't all 99. We had 35, but the same concept, battle royale in different ways. Funny thing is, my wife is not a gamer at all, and she actually got really into this and suffered the Tetris effect. If you guys don't know what that is, when you're just sitting there, you take furniture objects and like in your mind, and you make lines. It's a funny thing. It's a funny Wikipedia article if you ever want to read something funny about Tetris.
Perfect.
An actual diagnosis. Anyways, number 4 is Celeste. Celeste is actually my all-time favorite game, and this was really showing that Nintendo is backing indies more than the other 2 of the big 3. Like, I just remember early on, they'd be showing like this pixel game, and it didn't look bad, but I'm just like, why are they focusing so much on these indie games? Like, once again, they're not bad, but like, I want to see your main headlines, your big properties.
They had a ton in the beginning.
Like right now, like Indie World is like, once again, these games are not bad in Indie World these days. They're just not as like what, I don't know what the word is. They don't make the waves across the internet, but their Indie Worlds early on, like they were like cherry picking what to highlight.
I agree. They're like a dime a dozen now, which is
way too.
So it's like you have to kind of weed through the mess to find like the ones that are special.
Right.
Celeste was certainly a special title.
There's a lot with that pixel art style that's like Celeste. Like if you guys played the Blossom Tales games, Tales 1 and 2.
Love those games.
Great games, right? And they look very similar to Celeste. But at that time, so many of those pixel games were on the eShop in the indie section. So, but I will just say, to add to what you said, love Celeste. Love it. Beat it. It's a game that you can return back to and beat as often as you want because it doesn't take forever. And it's a great experience again.
And to that, I remember I gotta say is wait till you get a load of Indie Mania.
There it is.
One more thing I want to say about Celeste is it also became the meme of on the Nintendo Switch eShop, there's hidden gems, and everyone said there's a hidden gem called Celeste, but it wasn't really a hidden gem because everyone kept saying it was a hidden gem. And
it's not hidden.
Right. Yeah. My number 3 is Smash Ultimate. What more can I say? I think just people that didn't even play the game were paying attention to the announcements. I kind of think that it's actually more exciting to find out who's in the game than to play as that character in the game.
It was really special.
Yeah,
all the speculation leading up to every announcement, as well as like the trolls that sometimes Nintendo would do with their character reveals. It's so good.
Yeah. Just the licensing too is insane.
Yeah.
I wonder what we'll see on Switch 2. Might not be as great, but I think it'll be good.
Do you guys remember when that mural leaked on the internet of all the Smash Brothers characters?
The Grinch leak, was that it?
It was the one where the mural showed like Banjo-Kazooie on there, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's fake. It's totally fake because Banjo and Kazooie's on there." I'm like, I remember saying like, "No, I think that's real." It was a mural that leaked long before the DLC, all the DLC players were announced. But it was 100% legit. And again, that just adds to the whole Smash Ultimate vibe that we're discussing. It was very cool.
Nice.
Then my number 2 is Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is the game. I'm not a fan of it, but it's the game. If people only have one game on their Switch, it's Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like I know Mario Kart sells more, but those people usually have more games. People were getting FOMO, non-gamers, and they just got a Switch for this, and then they played it and then never touched their Switch again.
Yep.
And then my number 1 is Breath of the Wild. I really think it saved Nintendo's reputation. The Switch was known as a Zelda machine before more games came out. And yeah, what more can I say about it? It's fantastic.
More copies in the system itself at one point in time.
Right. Yeah.
In the beginning, yep.
Crazy.
Great list. Okay. Good variety there for sure. Nate?
All right. No particular order to this. But I'll just go with what I have written down here. So Breath of the Wild, I don't really feel like I need to say much about that. Obviously, I know it's a cross-gen game. I know it's on Wii U. They weren't selling Wii U's anymore when this game came out. So it literally helped kickstart the greatest generation Nintendo's ever had. It's hard to not remember it. Also, fundamentally changed Zelda moving forward. So there's that. Doom 2016, fairly obvious. That impossible port that ended up running really well and started leading to us getting not just that. We got the next Doom game. We also ended up getting the Wolfenstein games as well. And now it's something we're getting Dark Ages on Switch too. So
Nice.
like things are real flowing real well. And it all started with Doom, a game no one thought the Nintendo Switch was ever going to get. Smash Ultimate, obviously, again, the unexpected. The everyone is here. The characters we got in the DLC that nobody expected. You know, got Cloud in there. Obviously, Banjo-Kazooie and all the rest. Like, it just broke all expectations. In fact, makes it so people don't even know how the hell they could do Smash Bros. Moving forward. The Sakurai will find a way. So for my money, the best Smash game ever. I'm always going to remember it Ultimate on because I don't think we're ever going to get a Smash game quite like it again. So I'm always going to remember that game when I think back on Switch. Animal Crossing New Horizons, Pandemic is what it is. That's forever going to be ingrained in my life the way 9/11 is. Anything major that happened at that time, I'm going to remember. It was literally the biggest thing that happened that year. That wasn't like bad news. Literally like one of the biggest things. Everyone was playing it. Not just like people who were picking up a Switch for the first time because they had nothing to do. People who had Switch were playing it because it was a light year for Nintendo. They didn't have a lot of releases coming up. Again, pandemic. Great time waster. Obviously, you know, I'm never going to remember it as being like my favorite Animal Crossing, but I'll always think of that game when I think of Switch because it was a defining moment.
Yeah.
Just for it kind of felt like a defining moment as a gamer, if you were a gamer. During a very trying time. Tetris 99. Why are we not talking about these 99 games? Kicked it off. Tetris 99 was the first. Obviously, we got F-Zero 99 right now. Still going strong. Tetris 99 is still going as well. We had Mario 35. All those things started with Tetris 99. A battle royale Tetris game that you could play for free if you were an NSO member. I know they sell it separately now, but that led to all these other... Like, we just never had games like this. The reason I think that I remember this so fondly is it takes me back to the old school Nintendo Tournament Champion stuff back in the 90s, man. People are going against each other, trying to get the high scores. I love it. Takes me back to the day, and now I can just do it anytime I want. I love it. So, still love that game. I still turn it on every now and then. Tetris 99. Again, I think those games, those battle royale arcade style games, are going to continue being around for decades to come, and that's the game that got it going. Fitting it was Tetris of all games. Love it. Kirby in the Forgotten Land, first ever 3D Kirby game. I'll never forget that. Just like I'll never forget the first 3D Zelda game. Never forget the first 3D Kirby. Absolutely incredible. Possibly the best Kirby game ever made. It is so amazing. And I think it was the proper use of what they were trying to do with 3D World. For like they went with the same isometric style for 3D World. But why? You've already transitioned fully to 3D. You don't need that now. But for Kirby, I think it actually works perfect for the Kirby franchise. All right, Legends Arceus, pretty simple. When people ask me what my favorite Pokemon game is now, I can no longer say I'm a Gen 1er. It's Pokemon Legends Arceus. It, to me, is the best Pokemon game that's ever existed. It might be the best Pokemon game that ever will exist. ZA's got some big shoes to fill. The next Scarlet and Violet definitely did not. Nope. Didn't do it for me. I know it did it for a lot of people. I'm not even saying it's a bad game. I enjoyed it, but not as much as Arceus. And Arceus was way more bug-free. So we'll see what ZA does this year. And it might have made me a Pokemon fan again, but we'll see. If ZA drops the ball and then the next generation one, the Gen 10, if it's like a repeat of Scarlet and Violet, all right, well then this was just a one-off that I love. But I'll always remember it. The Witcher 3. So it was funny when Andrew Collette over there, he brought up the the cross saves with Rocket League and stuff, right? Well, crossplay. Yeah. Witcher 3 is cross saves, PC. We've never had that before.
Wow.
And in fact, a lot of PC gamers picked up a Switch to continue their PC save on Nintendo Switch at the time. There was no other way to play Witcher 3 portably at the time. It was the first ever way to do it. And that was a huge deal. One, because no one, again, it was another impossible port no one thought could ever run in any way or form that anyone would enjoy. And here we had PC enthusiasts picking it up to play on the go when they couldn't play it on their computer. And then they all said, it's actually just fine. And the Witcher 3 devs recognized PC gamers so much that after the game came out, they released an update that let us mess with little settings in the game like it's a PC game so we could make it look the way we want. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little tidbit there. Also gives me full faith in future games coming to Switch 2 from them. So big deal there because I think cross saves needs to become a regular feature between PC, Switch 2. I wish it was a regular feature between all the consoles. It's just not. But I'd like to see it become more normalized. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think it's the best Fire Emblem game ever made. So it is what it is. I'll always remember that until something else tops it. And here's what I'm going to throw out there because I feel like this started a trend. Octopath Traveler.
It did, yes.
I almost put that on my list.
Was a Switch exclusive for like a few years. Obviously the sequels and everything came to everything, and that's fine. Not only is it an amazing original IP, it brought HD 2D to the mainstream, baby. And now every remake and remaster of classic RPGs are all using HD 2D. It led to us getting another still exclusive game in Triangle Strategy from the same studio. Triangle Strategy also kicks ass. I don't know how that hasn't been released on other platforms yet. So I'm like it kind of, I don't, like if you guys feel like HD 2D is overdone today, well then blame this game because it started it all. I love the HD 2D art direction. I love it brought back classic art because it felt like for a while we weren't getting classic JRPGs. We weren't getting the turn-based, the build a party up, traditional, like, everything is starting going more action, and I get it. I love action RPGs. Well, one of my favorite games of all time is Secret of Mana, which is literally an action RPG. But this brought back that classic JRPG feeling. I loved it. It sold really well. Obviously, sort of the sequel and everything else, and a lot of these HD 2D ones have done really well. The latest being Dragon Quest that went HD 2D. Love it. Phenomenal. So, yeah, shout out to Octopath Traveler. I felt bad because I wanted to put some indie games on this list because indies have been a huge part of the Switch's story. And there's a lot that I could shout out, but I have such a hard time because those indie games are also, for many people, played first on things like PC. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Hollow Knight's a big part of the Switch's story early on, but then it's also, okay. But it makes people cry to bring that up because we're waiting for Silksong for the last 6 years. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. So I decided not to put any indie games on. I will give one just minor shout out just because I went through my list quickly. Cadence of Hyrule. We talked earlier about how Mario first time trusting a third. Cadence of Hyrule first time trusting an indie studio with a major Nintendo IP. We'll see if that translates to anything in the future. It'd be a fun trivia thing if Nintendo starts to do a lot of these crossovers. Like, what was the first Zelda game to have a,
Didn't they have Sonic at the Olympics with Mario?
Yeah, that was a whole new like genre game. Right. But yeah, that would be the first like crossover with another franchise, I think, for them that wasn't Nintendo owned.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that, by the way, guys. Technically, Pac-Man is in Mario Kart. That might predate it. I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, there might be some other crossovers out there I'm not thinking of, especially in the olden days of games. There might be some sort of arcade game that crossed over.
Yeah.
Again, trivia. All right. We'll save Eric for last. Do you have a 10 list on yourself? No, okay. He's just going to do the fan list.
I'm just going to do the fan list.
The fan
All
list.
right.
So
I haven't had a chance to think about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me pull this up here. So, obviously, with being last, there's some things that have been said. But I kind of knew this was going to happen, and I will be honest, I kind of did the list in a weird way. Okay, but I'm going to go through it quick. But it was because I knew I was going to probably play cleanup, and I think this can hopefully help put a bow on everything. So, in no specific order, Mario on the Nintendo Switch. we got Mario Odyssey. Best 3D Mario game. Some might say the best 3D Mario game is Super Mario 3D World. And I can see that as well. Excellent game. We got new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. We got Super Mario Maker 2. We got Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which gave us Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, which looks glorious on the OLED Switch. And then we got Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Nice.
Then, on top of all that, if you look at all the Mario games, I'm not going to go through them, but all the Mario games that are on NSO, it's insane. We've never had all these Mario games that are this good to be able to play under one roof on one console. So I couldn't just do one. It's Mario's overall presence in major games that aren't sports titles and parties and all this. It's not like just a bunch of spin-offs. It's major games. Like if you think about it, Nintendo 64, how many Mario platformers do we get? One. How many do we get? We got lucky. We got 2 3D ones, and we got the new Super Mario Brothers. You'll get Super Nintendo. How many do we get? But if you look at it throughout all the years, it's like we've never had this many. So that's pretty special.
We also even got the OG All-Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got everything, man. Like we've never ate that good for mainline Mario titles. Next is, this one's really important too, I think. It's Pokemon, but on the Switch, because this is the first time it's came to console. And that's a huge deal. Like, to me, that really does define the Switch, is that hey, this is the first time we ever got a mainline Pokemon game. Because you look at Stadium, obviously, like, that doesn't count. Sorry. That'll never count. Obviously, it's game, yes. But that doesn't count. Pokemon Snap, love it. But that doesn't count. But not only that, like, we got, okay, I made a list. Pokken Tournament, Pokemon Quest, you got the Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield, Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, you got the Cafe Remix, you got new Pokemon Snap, which that's still one that surprises me. I could not believe we got a new Pokemon Snap because that game was so much fun on the 64 growing up.
It's so good.
We got Unite, we got Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, obviously Legends, Scarlet and Violet, Detective Pikachu Returns, and then on top of that, on the NSO, we got the trading card game, we got the original Snap, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, and we got Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team on the GBA, which was the most recent Pokemon game to come out on the NSO. So, like, it's crazy to think about all the Pokemon that we got, and the thing is, it's not over.
Wow.
I mean, do we all think that we're probably going to get at least another Pokemon Gen remake on Switch One with that
Problem.
install base? Yeah, like I don't think it's over, man.
Yeah.
All right, so that leads me to the next one. And again, like, I will want to preface this that this is coming from someone who grew up in the 80s, who's been playing since 88, since the days of the NES, and I've went through a lot of dry spells, and I know a lot of you guys were there through it too. And that's Zelda, man. Like, so not only did Breath of the Wild bring Zelda, into a new stratosphere as far as sales, but we've never got this many Zelda games on one console ever. Like, this is insane. To live through Link to the Past and that wait.
6 years.
Yeah. Ocarina of Time. Like, it's just nuts. So to recap, we got Breath of the Wild in 2017. In 18, we got Hyrule Warriors. 2019, again, Cadence of Hyrule. Great game. 2019 as well, we got Link's Awakening. And we got Age of Calamity in 2020. Properly titled, actually, for 2020.
Yeah.
Sad about that. 2021, Skyward Sword HD. 2023 Tears of the Kingdom, and then 2024 again. I mean, I was very surprised that we got another Zelda game, a 2D one, be it a brand new one starring Zelda in 2024. Insane. Plus, of course, all the NSO Zelda games, which, they're pretty much, they're all there outside of the DS, the 3DS, and the Philips CDI.
All the platforms they have on there have all the Zelda games they had. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. So it's insane. And obviously, just going through the first three, it's a common theme with Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda. Like, we're seeing peak for all of these franchises. I'm going to go with one, actually, that surprisingly you guys didn't say. Very surprised. I did not think it would be left for me. That's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
Because, dude, to release the month after the Switch launched, with kind of the game plan being, hey, we're going to get this Mario Kart out. Okay. Well, we continue to work on the actual Mario Kart that's going to be coming to Switch. And then the sales just took off. And obviously they never stopped and they're still going. But as that time went on, I think Nintendo was like, hey, I think we leave this untouched. Like, we can't release another one. Plus, if we do, we completely change the precedent, right?
Yeah.
Because every Nintendo console or handheld has one Mario Kart. The moment you release two, expectations change, which is why I don't think Mario Kart 9 is coming to Switch 1. But if it was ever going to happen, that could be the time, especially if it's Mario Kart X, and they do a play on words with crossover with the Switch. Obviously, that's another story. But the DLC and the expansion pass specifically is really, I thought this was really important because they invited Nintendo in. They invited everyone else to play. It became Nintendo Kart. And I think that is going to continue to expand with the next Mario Kart. But again, the best-selling Mario Kart of all time is absolutely insane.
Insane how late they announced the DLC too. I think really shows that Nintendo, even though they don't do DLC a lot, it seems like it's never out of the question now. I think it was like 4 or 5 years after release.
So. It was so crazy. And I remember seeing the price, $24.99 for 48 tracks. I'm like, what? Like, that is a steal. Like, that is so generous.
Yeah.
And I also saw at the same time, social media, people being like, oh, that's a horrible deal. Nintendo.
They basically released another full game.
That's like an entire game.
Yeah, it's literally
and you get it free if you have the
content.
expansion.
Yeah, exactly. And I had it. I've had.
And if you have Mario Kart, you're probably playing online, right? So that you probably have NSO. So
yeah. This is it's just the craziest to me, the craziest Mario Kart obviously we've ever got. I had it on Wii U. I absolutely loved it. I thought even on the Wii U that the graphics were just insane at the time. Sure. And then to see it come over to Switch now and just to see how well it's done and just to think that we've been playing, the same Mario Kart for, is it going to be?
It's over 10 years now.
Wow. Over 10 years now.
Crazy.
It's just wild. So to me, that was really special. And just like with the Smash Brother character invites, I felt like the DLC and the expansion pass cups was very similar. Like there was a lot of people online like trying to figure out what was going to be in the cups. And it was a fun discourse to have with people to discuss everything. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass over a couple of these because I don't want to say the same thing. I will play off of what you had said, Nate, because I did have this on my list, but I want to go just a tad deeper. You had Octopath Traveler, and for good reason. I want to remind everyone that this was a Switch exclusive with Square Enix. This wasn't exclusive. It is now on PlayStation, but it took a a couple of years to come out on PlayStation.
Yep.
And what's significant about that is the relationships being built during this generation with Square Enix. I hold Square Enix in really, really high regard. I mean, they definitely make some of my favorite RPGs of all time. And so to me, that was huge, but like it didn't stop there. We got that. We got Live Alive, like a Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom RPG that obviously it didn't come out here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with the HD 2D, that was brilliant. Another thing that Switch doesn't get credit for, but it should, is Dragon Quest XIS. The S stands for Switch.
Mhm.
The S is the Switch version. It was so good and so much better than the standard Dragon Quest that came out on PS4
Mm-hmm.
that they brought that version over to PlayStation and to Xbox. Because the Switch version, you can play the whole entire game in 2D or 3D. They added a 2D mode, a full 2D mode, and you can switch literally on the fly. It's insane. Like, I don't know how they did that, but it's extremely impressive. And they added a fully orchestrated soundtrack. There's a couple other things they added. Those are the two headliners, though. And I played this game beginning to end, absolutely loved it. But so often people say, obviously, that the Switch gets the worst version of games. That's clearly not the case, is it? It was so good that they decided to take the Switch version and port it. And then I will flip this one more time. What other game did this happen with? Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, Rise. Yep.
Right? Like, it's interesting to look back at some of these games and look at it in that way. But then I gotta say the other one with Square Enix is Super Mario RPG remake. Like, holy crap, for me that was huge. I love Super Mario RPG. I love Gino. I love Mallow. Dude,
Gino for Smash.
Yeah, yes.
Heck yeah.
I love this game so much.
The man's gonna be there.
And I think if, like, as an old school Nintendo fan, going from Super Nintendo to what then happened with the 64,
Mm-hmm.
where, of course, Final Fantasy VII was originally planned to release on the 64 until Nintendo decided to go with cartridges. Then Square's like, we can't do it. Like, we can't. This game cannot come out on 64. Like, we need a CD. And that's when things started changing as far as third parties, was obviously after the Super Nintendo. And to see their relationship the way it is now is nice. It's nice to see as a fan, to see like Square Enix come back into the fold. I feel like they did everything possible to get every single Final Fantasy game they could on Switch 1. Like, I think I own all of them physically. There's a ton of them. It's insane. So that was really cool. Again, Nate, you mentioned the impossible ports. We all did. Witcher 3, Doom Eternal, Kingdom Come, Deliverance, No Man's Sky, Hellblade, Ace Combat 7. There's some crazy games that should have never been able to run on Switch. That's extremely impressive. And I want to throw in Harry Potter as well. That game running on Switch is absolutely insane that they were able to get that to run.
Is this your top 100?
No, these are all encapsulated.
This is with you.
Xbox and PlayStation games on Switch. Again, we've never seen this. This is unprecedented, and it's only going to get better when it comes to Xbox. And I'll leave you with this last one that, again, this is something I would never expected, was to get all of the Mario RPG games that we got on Switch. I would have never expected that we'd get a RPG starring Mario spanning 3 different RPG universes. Paper Mario, Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi. all on one console. Never would have thought that would happen.
Right?
Yeah. And as a big RPG fan,
Mm-hmm.
that was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of your guys' games were on my list. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my other ones to fill in some gaps. So there you go.
All right.
Nice.
Good list.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Eric, what did the fans come up with? Let's see if they got this right, or is it a bunch of hogwash?
Okay, well, let's go through a little bit at a time here. Let's start with YouTube. Top 10 for YouTube, right? Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at 10, Splatoon 2 at 9, Xenoblade Chronicles at 8. We got a tie for 7th with Mario Wonder and Kirby and Forgotten Lands. We got a tie for 6th with Metroid Dread and Luigi's Mansion 3. 5th is Animal Crossing New Horizon. 4 is Tears of the Kingdom. 3 is Mario Kart 8. 2, we have a tie between Smash Ultimate and Odyssey. And number 1 being Breath of the Wild. If we go over to Twitter, we got Fire Emblem 3 Houses at 10, Splatoon 2 at 9, Mario Wonder at 8, Metroid Dread at 7, Tears of the Kingdom at 6, Mario Kart 8 at 5, Smash Ultimate at 4, Animal Crossing at 3, Odyssey at 2, and Breath of the Wild at 1. And then, surprisingly, we had, so overall on YouTube, we had 67 games, and then on X, we had 73 games. But overall, we had a total of 104 unique games between the two platforms. And we had 14 with over 20 votes. But that actually is not where the cutoff is. So cutoff at number 10 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. 9 is Splatoon 2. 8 is Mario Wonder. 7 is Metroid Dread. 6 is Tears of the Kingdom. 5 is Animal Crossing New Horizon. 4 is Mario Kart 8. 3 is Smash Ultimate. 2 is Odyssey. And number 1 overall with 90 votes, and that is 10% of the votes total is Breath of the Wild.
No,
Almost
surprise.
10 and a half.
Yeah,
10
No
no
surprise.
surprise
Breath of
there.
the Wild. One of the best launch games ever
Yeah.
in the history of
It
games.
set the stage for Switch's success.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
wild
Yeah.
how much that game took my breath away when I played it.
I gotta do something.
It was
here.
wild.
Well, I have to do something here. This is very, very well deserved. Eric,
Yeah. I have
Oh,
been doing
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thanks, man.
All that for a minute of talk.
listen.
Yeah, it's only 4 hours to compile that list.
That's okay.
Yeah, the ending didn't stick the landing, but
What percentage, and everything. All
Yes.
those votes in, man.
Yeah.
For real, commend you. I commend you. That was
runners up.
None
real
of us.
quick. Luigi's Mansion at 11, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at 12, Fire Emblem 3 Houses at 13, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at 14. Those are all the ones with 20 or more votes.
man.
There you go.
cool.
I think it's
Hell,
interesting they had Splatoon, but I don't think any of us put Splatoon.
Because when I think Splatoon, I think Wii U.
Oh, well, that's not the reason, but I don't think it's top 10 either way.
Well, like 2 and 3 are really, really good. It's just kind of like, yeah, but like,
It's more.
It's the same
value
thing,
was
but better.
yeah, like the
Yeah,
shock value was 1, and that was on Wii U for me.
I've got a number. I've got a number 10 now. I didn't have a
Oh.
number 10 on my list. I'm gonna add one. It's a weird one. No one named it, but I do think it's a pretty defining moment in the Switch 2's life, and that's Nintendo Labo.
Oh,
They
yeah.
sold
Oh,
hardware.
Labo.
That was in here.
They sold.
Nintendo Labo.
Yeah, gotta add Labo.
I mean, and let you play Breath of the Wild in VR, baby.
Labo had
Right.
4 votes.
How many
Oh,
votes
wow.
did Snipper Clips get?
Snipper Clips, I believe, was 2.
Oh, that was a good game, actually.
It got votes. What about 1-2 Switch?
1-2 Switch, I think, was. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Oh gosh, where'd that go?
If everybody 1-2 Switch got a vote, that's
1-2
they're,
Switch.
they're trolling.
That is horrible. That's the most.
1-2 Switch.
Oh,
I'll
Everybody
always
wants
love
to
it.
switch is defining for a different reason.
Well,
Like, what wasn't it the only game, like first party Nintendo game on Switch to
it's the worst.
It was
rated
only-
first party game. It's like
right? But it was the only one, like the release date was released on Twitter. and not like a direct or something.
I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
really-
everybody 1-2 switch.
And it was like right after a direct. Like that's what I'm saying. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to switch. Like they
It was
just had a direct, and then
It
like
was
days
really
later they announced the release date on Twitter.
1-2 Switch is actually a fun game if you play it with a party like it's meant to be. Everybody's 1-2 Switch is not. It's
Right.
it's utter trash, even with a party.
Get
You
some
know,
horse
we're-
hate.
Listen.
Yeah.
I streamed it. I made the mistake of trying to play with the chat, and literally, like within seconds, 20,000 penises.
Of course,
Hell yeah. That's
dude.
about
It
how
was
that
a
works.
bad. It was a bad game. It just wasn't good.
Horrible.
Yeah.